Hello and welcome to Unboxed, the podcast that dives deep into the world of custom packaging and innovative brand experiences. In each episode, we'll be exploring the latest trends, innovations, and best practices in the design and packing industry, and then taking a look at how they can help businesses like yours to create memorable and impactful brand experiences. I'm your host, Sam Johnston. Let's get started. I'm your host, Sam Johnston, and in this episode, we'll be talking to Chelle Neff, who is a speaker, author, mentor, entrepreneur based in Austin in Texas. She's a founder and CEO of Urban Betty, which is a hair salon and product group based out of the Austin area. They've won numerous awards. They've got excellent products and a lot of community involvement, and we're looking forward to speaking to her. But great to have you here, Chelle.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, as always, we have a set of 5 questions, and I'll read those out just so the listener knows what to expect. And if they want to skip and get that specific one answered, then we'll chat to it so they can do so. The first one's going to be what inspired our guest today to get into the career, get stuck into the building of the brands that they've done and working with some of the physical locations that they've built, and how do they get to start in the field, basically. The second one's going to be how do they think custom packaging and product brand experiences contribute to getting a loyal customer base? And maybe what are some of the effective strategies that they've seen out there in the market in doing that? The third one's going to be, can they share any success stories or case studies of businesses that have transformed their brand through branding, experiencing, packaging, and other design exercises? Number 4 is going to be what are some of the biggest challenges or roadblocks that businesses like you listening are going to face when it comes to product branding and experiences, and how might you be able to overcome them? And the last one will be a little look at the future, a forecast of how do they see the future of product and packaging evolving over the next 5 to 10 years, and what could you, the listener, be doing today to stay ahead of that curve? So without further ado, we'll come all the way back up to that first question, which is, Chelle, what inspired you to get into your career, to get stuck into building brands, and how did you get your start in the field?
So I got my start in the field, believe it or not, in high school. I had the opportunity to join the cosmetology program half a day my junior and senior year of high school. So I was immediately licensed once I graduated, and I just jumped into it and started doing hair. And 10 years later, opened my own salon, my own brick and mortar called Urban Betty. My real name is Betty. It's Betty Michelle, and I go by Chelle. So hence where that came from, named after grandma. And, just started building from there. I had my first employee after 6 months, and we upgraded into a larger space at our flagship salon. We have a second salon. We have a third one on the way. We have almost 90 employees, and we have our own small brand with 2 shampoos and 2 conditioners. And that I opened in 2005. So we're creeping up on like almost 19 years of being in business, which is crazy to me.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about the move to want to start doing product as well as the service and the brick and mortar locations. Like, what was the pulling point for that?
It's kind of wild because I'm a person who suffers from migraines, and I was looking into what could potentially cause those. And I kept coming back to hormonal triggers, which are scented things. And, I'm in an industry where, I did hair for 17 years. I retired in 2017 just to focus on the business, but I'm around strong smelling chemicals, scents, you can name it, all day long. And so I kind of had to take a step back and be like, well, what can I do at home that will help me? And I was like, there's no shampoo and conditioner that's unscented that I can find that works well. And we sure don't carry it inside my salon. So I met a lady at the Inc. 5000 conference that processed and packaged goods and did white labeling, or they could custom formulate stuff for you. And I got to talking with her and got a lot of great advice from her. Ultimately went with another company. It was about 3 or 4 years down the line before there was even a product on the shelf. It was not easy because they kept sending me stuff and I didn't like it, and sending me stuff and I didn't like it. And then I finally just went, send me some of your stuff that you white label, and I'm going to make some minor adjustments to that. Mm-hmm. And let's make it an unscented shampoo and conditioner, which I love, which I use on my hair every single day. And then not everyone has this issue. People want to have scented products. So let's make a lavender. Let's make it all natural, simple, minimal ingredients. And I thought, what better person and place and demo do I have to promote this is inside my own salon company, because we see 80 to 100 guests per day.
Wow.
And if they're looking for something like this, we actually have that. And we opened up e-commerce too. It's for sale on our website, but most of it we sell inside the salon.
Love that. Well, I mean, a product that comes from a pain that you've experienced. I find that founders that have that pain have identified it and then found a solution and built a business off that. That's where the success happens. And
100%.
I'm sure it's going to go that way for you. I know it as well. That's
everything
awesome.
in my life is created out of a problem I needed to solve for myself. And then I was like, well, let me just hand it over to some other people too. And it works out. Yeah. Because who could be more of an expert than you yourself on what you know and what you need? Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And it kind of leads nicely on to this next question, which is, how do you think that custom packaging or product brand experiences contribute to creating a loyal customer base?
I feel like brand and packaging is so important. I look at everything when I go in the store. I have a very aesthetic eye, and I wanted it to match the interiors of my salon, which meant simple but fun. And it's funny because the company I was working with, they're like, we'll create your packaging for you. And they kept sending me stuff. And I was like, oh, that is not it. Oh, that is not it. And my husband, we had a 5-month-old at the time. He goes, why don't I just take our child on a walk and you try to do it yourself? And I went, you know what? Yes. And I literally went into Canva and within 30 minutes had created my own packaging label, sent it over to them. I get so many compliments on it. At the end of the day, I just knew how I wanted it to look and I just played around and I went with that. And it was something like, because I am a creative. I'm also a business owner, but I'm a creative. So I need to have that. I know some people are like, my husband would be like, I'm not going to create a bottle label. Hell no. But me, I loved it. And I love the process of it. And it came to me so quickly. And it's just very simple. And our logo for our salon is different than the logo on our products, but they flow well together. Because the logo for our salon is a pinup girl, but I didn't want people to get confused with this product because it's not really anything to do with pinup or curls or anything like that. It's just a simple shampoo and conditioner. So I went with that, more black and white, and the lavender has has purple writing on it. So in the future, when I create more products, the thing I would probably add is just a pop of color here or there for each different product. But for the most part, I want it to look clean and simple and represent, because that's what the products are.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, looking at the market, so looking at like success stories or case studies, have you seen any businesses out there in your sector or outside of it that have transformed their business through branding or rebranding, or maybe a different style of packaging, like a way that they've extended their brand out to their client base? Have you seen anything like that happening?
I have. If I look back to Bumble and Bumble, which is one of the first hair products that I carried inside my salon, they revamped their logo every few years. But the cool thing about it is that you could still tell it was the same logo, but they were always modernizing it. And they had this cool movie, because I was going to classes there, I'm learning about the products, and it showed you their logo from the beginning to the end. And I thought that's so cool, because it's not like you just don't create one logo and leave it there. I have my salon logo and I love her. I love the pinup girl, but I wanted a more modern twist on that. And so I wanted someone, if they looked at both, it would still represent the brand. But Bumble and Bumble did that effectively. And that was my first kind of aha moment, is like, you always have to be evolving. You don't have to completely change it. But just like your house, you don't want your house to look like it did in 1970. Not that most people were alive then. Well, most people were, but I'm saying I was born in 77. So I think of 70s, like I love the 70s aesthetic, but I don't want my house to look like the 70s. And that's the way it is with logos. Like you really have to, if you look at most successful brands, they don't stick with the Coca-Cola. Yes, certain things will look the same, but a lot of things are going to look different. And that's part of it. You have to evolve.
Love that. Yeah, I've seen so many cool visuals where they show you the progress of logos through history, like the Instagram logo or some of the big famous brands. And it's so fun to see how they've migrated and moved with culture, with the client, with the the target market expectations, and how they've evolved as an organization. And when you were, so before you had your own product and you're stocking the shelves inside your brick and mortar locations, was kind of the packaging and the aesthetic a big thing to you, or was it more about the content? Or was it a mix of both? How did that impact you?
It was a mix of both. Definitely, I will say the packaging does play a big part on it, because we want to be, we want to say we're high end, but we also want everyone to feel open or welcome when we open the doors to them. So I do have just Redken, which can be $10 to $15 a bottle. And then I have Kerastotz, which can be $40 to $50 a bottle. Kerastotz looks way better. However, that's not in every person's budget. So I have to realize that. So it does play a part, form and functionality and price point. I have to gather all that data and then just make it where's the prettiest parts? Okay, we're going to put all of those gorgeous products right on display. And the things that maybe are a little more affordable or not as pleasing to the eye, they're out there. I'm not going to hide them, but they're not in everyone's line of view. And that's how I solve that problem.
Awesome. Well, I want to represent the audience here a little bit because we have some people on here that are listening that are starting businesses or maybe aspirational. They want to get a product to market. They haven't quite done it yet. What are some of the biggest challenges or roadblocks that businesses are going to face when it comes to creating product, doing their own branding and creating these brand experiences? And how might they overcome them?
First off, if you're working with a company and like I said, I started with one company and ended up going with another because number one, there was a pandemic, so that did not help. But number two is they kept sending me stuff and I didn't like it. And then there would be this 1 to 2 week response time on the email. And it's like every day counts. And I just started feeling not heard. And then people were leaving that company and there would be a new person. It's like I had to start over from scratch. And I knew in my gut, probably a year before all of this happened, that I should go with another company. But I was so new to it, I didn't know who to go with. So I just talked to a person that was helping me with PR in my business. I would have never thought in a million years, ask her. But of course, she represents other salons and spas. And she's like, I represent this salon and this spa, and they have created their own custom products. Here's the company that they use. And within one day of me just venting to her, she had that problem solved for me. And I went with the other company. And within 6 months, I had the formulation.
Beautiful.
In 3 years, I had it made with the other one. So talk to everyone, tell everyone what you're doing, what you're looking for. Don't be scared. It's not that easy to rip off your idea. Oh, I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm like, everyone has great ideas. Only 1% of us actually have the execution. So, I mean, certain things, yes, you might need an NDA for, but for the most part, reach out to other people, ask them for help. And if you get a feeling in the pit of your stomach that you don't like working with this company, do not continue on just because you don't feel like you can go anywhere else. I was so worried. I didn't know anyone else. And I just let that fear overtake me. And it cost me a couple of years. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, we are our sponsor of the show, Merchant Boxes. They do the packaging design and fulfillment side of the product world. And one of the things that they keep on telling me is they even deal with people that maybe they've launched their product, maybe it wasn't such a bad experience, or maybe it was okay. They get a year or two down the line, and then they're still getting charged the same price, or maybe the price has increased a little bit. It's never the wrong time to go out to market and to get a second opinion on even the simplest of costs, because things move on, and where sometimes per printed sheet, there used to be 2 pieces, maybe now there's 4. There's a new way of moving things around. And what they've started to do is work with brands that are maybe a little bit further down the line, 4 or 5 years in maybe, and they just haven't made any changes. So like over that 4 or 5 years, things have been fine and they're profitable and things are moving and they're growing, which is great. But then the team come in, they do a kind of audit of what's happening. Let's just take a look at it all and go back and do a little bit of procurement and come back and say, here's the most up-to-date costs now. And here's the new technology. And even on the last one, they managed to save like $1.5 million, a medium-sized business per year in annual savings, just by going out and looking at the vendors again. So at the beginning, 100%, like you're saying, if you got a bad feeling or it's not moving quick enough for you, they're not listening, they're not representing you effectively, there's lots of other players out there and you can ask people in your network. But even if you're further down the line, there's other opportunities. So don't be afraid to get out there and speak.
Yes. And you reminded me of another thing. You were 100% right. The first company I was going with wanted me to have this insane amount of inventory that I was going to have to store somewhere else, like $30,000 worth in inventory for the original buy-in. And I thought, well, I guess this is what everyone does. And then the second company I went with was like a $5,000 buy-in, and they'll store it for me and they ship it out as I need it. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So please, it's not the same it's so vastly different. Yes, shop around.
That's great. Well, let's put on our kind of our pearly ball here and look at the future, I know it's hard to
Yeah.
forecast. I'm not an economist, or I don't know what's going to happen in the market, but looking forward at the future kind of packaging, product, and brand experiences over the next 5 to 10 years, what do you see happening, and what could businesses be doing today to stay ahead of that curve?
I feel like with most people out there, we are all really getting in tune to our health and into sustainability. So number one, when I say health, we're not going to just grab anything off the shelf now. We're actually going to look at what the ingredients are. And so I need to stay ahead of that. And I want to create other products within my product line, but it's hard for the certain things that I want to create to keep them simple and keep them healthy. So I'm trying to manifest that. But also with sustainability. So we have plastic bottles. You can recycle them. Would I like that to be different? 100%. I would like it to be a bottle that's not plastic. Still working on finding that and how I like it. Because the consumers are getting very conscious of not only what's going into their body, like after they use this, where's it going out there on the earth? So we've got to look at those two things and stay on top of them. You can't just have a great, pretty product at the end of the day. You've really got to look at those things as well.
Yeah. And I think that there was a report out recently that was saying 70 to 80% of a buyer's decision on a product. This is in particular within a kind of fairly busy market. So if you're on a busy shelf line or you're in a busy category, 70 to 80% of a buyer's decision is purely on the packaging. So getting across your information, even if you are the most sustainable on the shelf, making sure that that is communicated effectively and that your tribe of clients know this is so hard to do, whilst also making it look slick and, you know, clean and all that good stuff.
Because I say that and I didn't even think of it. I have yes, I'm drinking a Coke. But it says right on the front of it, 100% recycled bottle. And if Coke's doing that, oh my gosh, you know, it's like you intuitively knew that was sitting there, but that is very important. And we also put our QR code on the bottle because I have a few Airbnbs. Where do I put my product? In my Airbnbs, and I put a QR code on it because of the people staying there. You know, we have 10 to 15 people, guests per month. They can scan that QR code and reorder that product right there. So that was another like aha moment. Yes.
Yeah. I think that connected packaging is kind of the hype term that's around right now. And connected packaging has been around for like 20 odd years. It's nothing new, but since the pandemic in particular, and since the new technology has kind of made it far more accessible and the costs have dropped, it's suddenly becoming like a boom time, the golden era, this connected packaging. And I've seen brands using it for collecting like client data via surveys and incentivizing them with amazing gifts and like sample packs or gift cards, and then even sampling. So like, hey, if you liked this product, scan this, we'll ask you some questions and we'll send you out some samples of our other things, and then they can get those delivered out to them. But even sort of around that, we have some amazing partners down at the Merchant Boxes team where they'll do like augmented reality experiences around these packages. Or there's a couple of wine categories that they work with where when you're going down the aisle, you can have your phone and or certain bottles will pick up if you're on like an iPhone or a Samsung over a certain age limit. It'll tell you the story of the vineyard that it came from, the heritage of it, and start to give you that information. Do you think there's any application for all of that connected packaging realm within your market?
Oh, 100%. You just like, I was like, oh my God, I wish I could put like 5 codes on there because so many things. It's like, I'm like, yeah, we all know how to wash our hair or shampoo. Don't say wash in my industry. That's what you do to a car. However, wouldn't it be cool if I scanned a QR code and it's like, here's a hairstyle, you know, let me show you a quick way to curl your hair after you're done using these products. Like, oh my God, I would eat that up. I wish I was a kid right now with all of the YouTube and how-to videos, but how cool would that be to have that extra thing? Or like you said, here's our next newest thing, scan here, we'll send you a sample. Like, I love the idea of that. Yes. That's
awesome. Well, we've got some gold out of this conversation, Chelle. Thanks so much for giving all the information. If anyone wanted to reach out to you, how would they go about doing that? How could they follow you?
So they can follow me, my my personal page on Instagram is Urban Betty. The salon page is Urban Betty Salon. So you can just follow me on there, message me there. Twitter, I'm at Urban Betty, and the salon is Urban Betty Salon. So super easy.
Perfect. Yeah, great. We'll put those in the show notes so people can jump in and follow there. But if you've enjoyed this episode as the listener, be sure to subscribe to the podcast or leave a review wherever you're listening to this. It means a lot to us and the algorithm robot overlords. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for us for future episodes, you can reach us on email at unboxed@merchantboxes.com. And until next time, keep thinking outside the box and creating unforgettable brand experiences. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode. It was sponsored by Merchant Boxes. Merchant Boxes provide custom packaging to large businesses and small creators that customers love. If you're looking for award-winning custom package designs that make your business and products stand out from the competition, click the link in the show notes to find out more.